All right, here we go, guys. By Voidzilla. Let's.
The president of the United States is trying to cover the Epstein story. It's the double down right here.
Yeah, see, this is what I wanted to take a look at over here. So Trump made a post, and it goes like this. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. The selfish people are trying to hurt it all over the guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files just like they created fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files if there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement? You know, kind of true though. Like, this part is kind of true. If they did have anything on Trump, why didn't they fucking release it? That's like this one's a good point, actually. Like it doesn't really match. Like if they're willing to fucking kill him, like if they're, you know, and I mean, let's be real, the assassination was really fucking sus. Like, how is it even possible? Like, it was like the most basic of security, like, lapses that like made this happen. There's no way. There's no way. Like, it's either that or the Secret Service is just like that incompetent, like so like they don't even function in their job, which is a possibility. But the thing is why wouldn't they use it against him, right? But it's also a possibility that they planted it after. But anyway, why didn't they just use it? They haven't even given up on John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we've had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has ever achieved in 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel, the FBI, must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals.
Truth Social, a big post saying that actually it's the Democrats who wrote the Epstein files.
The two things can be true at the same time, Trump. Yeah, I mean, you could do all of it. So like, it's kind of weird that he's like, so okay, so. And again, two things can be true there too, right? So on point one, if they did have anything on him, like why didn't they really, like you would imagine that they would release it. So the only case that they wouldn't release it is because it would collateral them too. Like by them releasing it, it would be like, well, release everything then, and then they would be in it. You think this is why no one wants to actually release it? There's another conspiracy theory. You guys want to hear the new conspiracy theory? The new theory goes like this. Basically, the Epstein files has a bunch of shit on people in the Senate and the House. And that the reason why Trump doesn't want to release it is because it's basically like being held back to keep people in line, which is like, I still don't like that, but it kind of makes sense to me if that's true. Why did Trump promise real estate to just not? Yeah, I mean, that is dumb. I agree. And it is kind of interesting because Elon did say that Trump is in the Epstein files, but how does Elon know that? Like, is Elon just fucking trolling? Like, is this Elon just like basically assuming something and just being like, this is why it's not in there? Or does he know something? Right? Like, I don't know. Because the thing is again, like just thinking about motives, right? If I were, okay, say I were the Dems, right? I were the Dems and we had a bunch of people compromised in the Epstein files, like Clinton and I don't know, Obama or whoever the fuck, like Bill Gates, whoever you want to say, right? The best way to prevent Trump from releasing it is to seed him into it, right? Because if Trump is like, yeah, I want to release the Epstein files, and they're like, yeah, bitch, well, you know, we put you in there. Like, we forged you in there. Like, you know what? Have fun. We made up some shit and we like totally just like put you in there, right? It would be like a way to be like, again, mutually assured destruction, right? Elon was poking. Elon was just fucking around. Subrashi time on Kick says Elon just poking Sleeping Bear to get movement. Yeah. Anyway.
Just after Elon Musk, who worked with Trump for many months, said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Obviously, we've already seen deflections from the president about Epstein, saying that it's a disgrace to talk about him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It just seems like a desecration.
But today,
like,
it goes a step further.
What is this? Like, is Trump just like, is Trump like going full retard? Like, I don't like, what's the point of this? Like, what is the point of like taking this angle? It doesn't make any sense, because all it does is make him look more suspicious. Like, I don't know why he would do it. Is he just being Trump? Trump just being Trump, basically? Trump gonna Trump? Yeah, I don't get it.
There's been a lot of infighting in the Republican Party over basically who's at fault for the giant botch of the Epstein files, with the majority of Republicans not wanting to believe that Trump himself was against a full release, but rather that he was sort of tricked into not releasing the
Trump and Elon beef is 200% fake fight. Trump did that before to other people. That was what I heard too. That's what my mom said. That's what my mom thinks, is that it was like fake.
Epstein files by one of his lackeys.
It was like it was basically Trump taunting and just taking aggro for Elon. That's what I heard, but
Donald Trump came out and basically backed Pam Bondi, saying they're all going after Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Democrats who con the world with the Russia hoax? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier. Now, this is such a smokescreen and a deflection. This is not a left versus right issue. Epstein never has been. It's the people versus the predators, not left versus right. The people versus the pedophiles, the people versus the people on planes. There ain't no left versus right here. In fact, some of the people who want this the most are people on the right, even on Truth Social. Obviously
and like this is the thing. Is you hear it all the time where people say that, like, oh, people on the right, they like fucking super simp for Trump, like they don't care like about anything. They don't care about anything. They're like always gonna like, you know, they're like such cultists, such like Trump simp cultists, right? Like, but the thing is like, again, like just like look at like what's being said. Like, I mean, I bet you I could look at it like right now. There's a lot of people that disagree with Trump on this issue. Actually, what the fuck am I talking about? It's right here on screen. Right here on screen. You have a bunch of people like saying like, Trump, like, what the hell, man? You know what I mean? Like,
hugely Trump favored place. Everybody is saying, no, this is unacceptable. You have to release the files. Trump also says that these are radical left inspired documents and to not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. But actually, we all do care about. A lot of people do care. You know who doesn't actually want this out? The elites. That's why they've never done it. That's why it was a compelling pitch when Donald Trump hinted to his base.
Did you guys know? And like it was actually it has come to my attention recently that people didn't know about this. But you guys know that Jeffrey Epstein already got arrested. Like before the other time, the one where he, you know, didn't kill himself. Let's see, Epstein first arrest. In Florida. It was in Florida where it happened. Wait, what? What? Epstein investment Israeli startup? Hold on, what? I didn't even know about this. This is on Wikipedia. What? In 2015, Israeli newspaper has reported Epstein invested a startup reporting Homeland Security in the startup. Rebranded as Carby in 2018, startup was connected with Israel's defense industry, and it was headed by former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who was also at one time the defense minister and chief of staff of In April 2008, he went to Israel and met with a number of research scientists and visited different Israeli Why would he be visiting Israeli military bases? Archived from 2008. The success of MAGA long-term is going to depend on how Trump handles the Epstein files and keeping us out of wars. So here's the thing. You can make the argument that, like, while the Epstein files are morally, like, reprehensible and terrible, it has nothing to do with, like, the economy, right? You could argue that, like, the economy, like, he's more interested in the economy. But the problem is the Epstein files is a matter of trust. And trust is the hardest currency to earn. If you bankrupt on trust, it's over, right? So it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense to throw that away, in my opinion. But yeah, so like, I mean, like, these reports are from 2008. So like, this is even before the whole thing. I don't even think this is a matter of like, oh, like, they're making shit up now. when this is like from before? So like, why would they make up a story about Epstein in 2008? Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't, like, if we want to make the argument that like Wikipedia is lying, I mean, there's the sources right here, right? Like, oh my God, it's in an actual fucking newspaper, guys. Like, on dead trees. That's crazy. But I was basically looking at, like, when he got his first thing, right? Right here. The conviction and sentencing in 2008 and 2011. Did you guys know this? That Epstein pleaded guilty. He pleaded guilty. Epstein pleaded guilty to a state charge of procuring for prostitution a girl below the age of 18. This is in 2008. This guy's been up to this for a long time, and this shit got buried. You know, like they just buried this shit. Like, what is this, right? And then like there's also the case earlier with like the reporter that had the whole thing. Like, you have the report over from Project Veritas, and like if you look at the date on this is from 5 years ago, and like the clip was even from before. I mean, you can just watch it. It's a leak. Basically, what happened was James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, got a leak from, I forgot what news station this was. Was this ABC News? So, leaked footage from Hot Mic. So, this was like before a show or after a show. The cameras were still rolling, but then like she was like kind of pissed off, and she was ranting. She was ranting to like her producers and stuff. Was caught on camera, and somebody from inside of ABC leaked it to Project Veritas, and this is the clip. If you haven't seen this, I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, "Who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story." Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the. Alan Dershowitz is his lawyer, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. What do you mean we don't have anything on this? There's so many people like involved in this. It's crazy. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago. So this is like 3 years. So this leak, we don't know. This leak could be even from before 5 years ago, but this was 5 years ago. And then she's saying 3 years ago. So like they had this like 8 years ago, right? At the minimum. That's like the minimum. It could be more, actually, right? And like somebody covered it up. Someone, something, some organization basically from the top like assassinated the story. This is crazy. Like, what the fuck? And then you have like, again, like Jeffrey Epstein, like I mean, I didn't even know this one, to be honest. Like, I didn't even know about his like Israeli startup, like military defense bases. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, he went to Israel and met with a number of research scientists and visited different Israel. Why? Like, why would some dude from New York be doing this? Like, what? Right? And then you have on top of that, like, there's even more where Ghislaine Maxwell, who's like, he's like the partner in crime of Jeffrey Epstein, and she's still alive, right? Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was given like a state burial in Israel, like, and apparently like he was buried in like some like big dick cemetery for like, like people that are hardcore involved with like Israel stuff. Like, I want to, oh man, like, yeah, her dad was Mossad. That's what people are saying. Like, I don't know. Is that true? Like, is there proof that her dad was Mossad? People were saying that though, that it kind of tracks with him being Mossad, like based on like the honors that he got upon his death. Right. So like, man, like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. And the thing is like, you know, a lot of conspiracy theorists, you know, like it sounds really conspiracy theory, right? When you think about like what it's kind of meme, right? When people say like, oh, like Israel's involved, it's like kind of a meme, right? Let's be real. Like, I know there's like a lot of truth to a lot of it, but then like it's typically like a meme. Like people say it like all the time. Like people always like kind of blame Israel for everything, right? But like in this case, there's a lot of evidence. Like actually, like there's a lot of interesting evidence around it, and like, you know, it's easy to basically accuse people of doing that. Axathoth over on Twitch says it's not a meme, it's astroturf as such to make people pointing it out sound ridiculous. Yeah, dude. And it's like that's how you would do it, right? That's how you would do it, is you would make, I mean, this is their playbook. Wait a minute, what the fuck am I talking about? They did the same thing with like JFK stuff. Right? Or like any sort of like theory, like people, they're just like, oh, it's conspiracy theories, a bunch of nut jobs, you know, a bunch of nut jobs saying a bunch of shit, right? Oh my God, dude. This is fucking ridiculous, bro. This is ridiculous. And then you have like, you know, Dan Bongino and freaking Kash Patel saying, Epstein definitely killed himself. Here's the proof, guys. Here's the proof. And it's like the proof is like not even proof. And then now you have like combo that with Trump going, hey guys, like maybe we need to stop looking at this Epstein stuff. Why are we even talking about this still? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Trump? You know, like, dude. Oh my God, dude.
That maybe he was going to release the files. People largely didn't trust the job that Biden had done. That's why it was a compelling story. So the idea now that it was Biden and Obama who invented the Epstein files is absolutely preposterous. They don't want that out either. And maybe that's because, as a producer of 60 Minutes alleged, Ghislaine Maxwell implied that there were tapes on Trump and also tapes on Clinton. You know who else?
Dan didn't believe it when he said it, according to look on his face. You know what? Nameless hack on Kick. I honestly believe you on that. Yeah, like there's so many conspiracy theories that people said was like bullshit. Well, like they said like, oh, you're a crazy like nut job, conspiracy theorist, like whatever you say is not real. It always ends up being true, man. Like, yeah, like what Revan said, MK Ultra, that was another one. That the government was experimenting on people with drugs, and they're like, nah, dude. And then we got fucking Ted Kaczynski out of that, right? Like, this is so fucking crazy. Like, man, it's so crazy. The conspiracy theories have become conspiracy theory. Yeah, again, like I said, like Alex Jones, like the whole reason Alex Jones even rose to prominence was because of Bohemian Grove, that everyone said was bullshit. And Alex Jones, like he was just like a no-name reporter back then, and he broke the Bohemian Grove thing, like the secret mission. He like infiltrated in there. Yeah, that's another one too, right? And they all ended up being true. So it's like it's quite interesting. And now like a lot of people see like Alex Jones as like a super nut job, right? Like, man.
Said it? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, saying Epstein said, what I know about both candidates, the 2016 election would have to be canceled. So this whole idea that this is a left or right thing, it's not. It's the elite.
So there's one thing that actually like, okay, so one thing about Trump, and this is like has to do with the like the old case and also like the current case a little bit. One thing about Trump is that Trump actually helped the police. He was the only person that did. So like him being implicated in it seems a little weird. Like why would he go out of his way to like FOSS Jeffrey Epstein and be like, yeah, that guy did it, and like yeah, I'll testify on it. Like why would he do that? Like why would Trump do that if he was implicated? The only other thing I can think about is like they gave him immunity, right? But yeah, Trump was an informant, like on the Epstein cases. So like, why would he bring attention to it, and why would he like basically go after Epstein if he had anything on him, right? Spiteful Vanessa says, I don't think Trump is implicated. I think someone got to Trump and told him that some really bad stuff would happen if this gets out, like some major collapse of some kind. Dude, fuck him, dude. Honestly, just my take. Fuck him. Massive Dog, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dude, fuck him, man. Like I'm gonna be real. Like, I love America and stuff, but like, if all of this is built on like on the backs of demons, then like we need to fucking clear out the house and fix it all up. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, honestly, like
anybody who was on that.
This is what I mean. Like, you know, say what you will about a lot of people will say that, like, again, that, me or anyone else on the right, like, just simps for Trump and doesn't like, it's just like an absolute, like simp, 100% in lockstep with Trump. A lot of us don't agree with what's going on right now. Right. Tazito says we need young blood. Yo, don't tell them that because they might take it literally. Okay, guys. They might take it literally. They might try to do that thing where they blood infuse with like younger people. Like let's not give them any ideas, Tazito. All right, let's not. Okay.
Anybody
they already
who was
do.
associated
Yeah, that's another conspiracy theory.
with Epstein, seen with Epstein, even if they
Conspiracy theory just means true in a couple of years.
did nothing wrong, they don't want that out.
To be honest, MAGA will die if Trump refuses to release the files. I agree, Arrows. And again, like I said, the reason why is because it's a loss of trust, and trust is a currency, right? Trust is a resource, and it is the most difficult resource to like get to like farm, and it is the most difficult, like it's the most difficult resource to farm, period. So like if you lose it all, like you're kind of fucked. You can't just borrow more, right? Sanzaga, thank you so much. Thank you. Reputation is a really difficult resource to like gain. So yeah. Tazito says there are MAGA defending him still. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, of course. There will be some people that will simp no matter what. But what I'm saying is that like when people say that that's a trait that like MAGA people have, I don't think it's true. I don't think that's true. That it's only an issue of that. Anyway. Now, Trump is saying the Epstein files were made by Biden, Hillary, and Obama. I mean, I don't know. Are they? Maybe they are.
Everyone who wasn't seen with Epstein, wasn't on that plane, of course they all want the files out.
Put it this way. If you had all the levers of power and you were to write, and you had to write the report on yourself, wouldn't you write the report? Wouldn't you write that report about yourself in the most favorable way possible?
And what's interesting,
it just makes sense, okay? It just makes sense.
Is obviously the Trump administration has sort of played footsie with this idea for a long time, playing to their base. They know this is a big issue.
This was so fucking annoying with their freaking little binders.
And out there with a bunch of released material. But we also showed clips of Donald Trump implying that maybe Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew were doing bad things on the island.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
So consistently, Trump has hinted that maybe...
Dude, Prince Andrew is like... That dude is in freaking pictures. He's in pictures with the... Like, they have actual photo evidence of him with the underage girls.
These guys were involved with Epstein. Maybe it was bad. But turns out all these guys knew each other and knew Epstein. We know this in part from a Piers...
What do you think are the odds that he just gets away with it again? Many such cases. So tiring.
Morgan interview where he talks to a lady who went to a dinner party with Trump, Clinton, Epstein, and Prince Andrew.
Extraordinary collection of very high-powered people. How did they all interact with Epstein? How did Trump, Clinton, and Prince Andrew interact with him?
Everyone was very, very pally with him, you know. It was like there was a close bonds. You could see that.
So these guys knew each other, apparently had dinner parties together, all of them together. Trump later accuses two of the guys of doing bad things. And then when we release the files, can we release the files? Well, no, actually, no, we can't do that. Nobody cares about that. The reason why seems obvious. Epstein knew Prince Andrew. Yes, he knew Bill Clinton. Yes, but he also knew Donald Trump. And recently tapes were released of Epstein talking and calling Donald Trump his closest friend.
So how do you know this?
So it makes intuitive sense to distance yourself from files that may or may not have your name.
Well, so they were both in like New York, and they kind of were friends like early on. And then like some stuff happened, and that's when he ratted out Epstein.
And even distance yourself from the people involved.
Yeah, well, everybody knows
Trump
it already.
actually denied knowing Prince Andrew.
I don't know Prince Andrew.
Of course, this was immediately debunked by photos showing the two together. And of course, showing that they clearly knew each other as of 2000.
Bro, look at this guy. Look at this guy, chat. Man.
Now, the reason you would deny knowing Prince Andrew, even though you did, is obvious. At the time, he was facing allegations related to Epstein. By the way, allegations that now are basically over Prince Andrew's very happy about us dropping the Epstein probe. A source for The Sun said he's only been abroad once since the scandal erupted. Prince Andrew has always been very nervous about going abroad and always looking over his shoulder, as he should be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but now
what the fuck?
He's very happy because the guy who never met him but was photographed with him in 2000 just ended the investigation. Now, I have to say, Trump's been pretty...
Wait, hold on. Did he say never met him? Hold up.
From the people involved. It's worth stating Trump actually denied knowing Prince Andrew.
Well, saying you don't know somebody doesn't necessarily mean you never met them. That could just mean like you don't know them on a intimate level, right? Like they're not like your friend. Yeah, that's completely different.
Facing allegations related to Epstein. By the way, allegations that now are basically over. Prince Andrew's very happy about us dropping the Epstein probe. A source for
Yeah, like for instance, like if I say like I don't know a certain VTuber, that doesn't mean I've never like interacted with them ever. It just means I don't know them that well.
Sun said he's only been abroad once since the scandal erupted. Prince Andrew has always been very nervous about going abroad and always looking over his shoulder, as he should be, in my opinion. But now he's very happy because the guy who never met him but was photographed with him in 2000 just ended the investigation. Now, I have to say, Trump's been pretty consistent on the fact he has no interest in releasing the Epstein files in full. He said this multiple times. The reason most people have sort of a false memory of this, the reason it's sort of a Mandela effect that he campaigned on the idea of releasing the Epstein files, is because Fox News released a deceptively edited clip where they cut out the part where he said, yeah, I'll probably release the Epstein files, and they cut out the part where then he backtracks on that completely.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
And that's the part most of us saw. Of course, later, people found out that the full clip showed him saying basically the opposite.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know.
What the fuck? What the fuck, media?
Showed him saying basically the opposite.
I guess.
Aren't you guys glad that we have like independent media again because of fucking X and stuff? Like, man, holy shit.
Later, people found out that the full clip showed him saying basically the opposite.
I guess I would. I think that less so because.
Classic mainstream media. And this is Fox, by the way. Still bitches.
You know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
We also have later, people found out that
so because, you know, you don't know.
The opposite.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know.
Yes, he would, but that one less so. He's less interested, less willing.
You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with.
Ooh. Hold on, I'm thinking. There's a lot of phony stuff in there. That means he knows. Well, I think that this is like very relevant to what he said, though. Like, even if you were going to cut it, I think cutting it in this way is kind of bad.
That whole world.
We also have Bill.
So there's a lot of
It's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
You know, though, I'm just saying, if I were them, right? Like, if I were like the Epstein group, right? Like the Epstein like faction, I would definitely put a lot of fake shit in there. Like, I would put a bunch of fake logs and fake correspondence. Like, for instance, like if I had like a guest book or something, or like, you know, one of those guest lists or something like that, I would plant people on there that actually weren't even really invited. But I would add them to it just to fuck with them, just to like seed possibility in the future. Like it's hard to plant. You can't really do it. It's hard to plant people. No, I would have put it in from the beginning because they just had to check for an alibi. Well, but what if, okay, so what if like you were on, okay, here's an example. What if you were on, okay, what if like you didn't know about Epstein, right? Like you didn't know about any of this. And then Epstein was like, hey man, like, you going to Florida, right? You're like, yeah, I'm going to Florida. And he's like, I'll take you there for free. I have a plane. Right? And so like, you're like a rich person. And he's like, oh, maybe he just wants to talk business with me. And then you get on the plane, right? And then now the plane goes to Florida and now you're like on there, but you didn't actually do anything. Right? But then he intentionally baited you to get on the plane just so that you're on it. Do you see what I mean? Putting big names on the books will also be like, see, these guys do it. It's also fine. Yeah, like, dude, because the thing is, you have to consider that Jeffrey Epstein is like peak evil, right? He's like a manipulator, and he's like peak evil, right? So like, if you were to get into that mindset, like, wouldn't you do that, right? Like, wouldn't you do that? So like, I can see. So like, hold on, did Trump like? I guess Trump would have been on some of his stuff because Trump was invited, you know, if they were, okay, so like if they're for sure they were friends before, or they were acquaintances at the very least, right? And your acquaintance like invited you to like go to some stuff, like you might go there even though nothing happened, and you might go to one of those things and nothing happened there. Say like Jeffrey Epstein holds 4 pedophile parties, right? But he holds 1 non-pedophile party, right? So there's like 4 pedophile parties, but he invites all the people from the pedophile parties to the non-pedophile party, and then he invites you to it, right? And then you end up going to that party and you're like, oh yeah, this is a great party, this is fine, right? Later on, it turns out that his parties were pedophile parties, 4 of them. And so are you saying that like the one that you went to with all of the same people was not a pedophile party? You see what I mean? Like how if he was a manipulator, like he could totally do this, right? He could totally do this just to like fuck with you and then be like, yeah, well, you know, guess your fate is tied to ours now. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he guys, like, all right, listen. If this guy, like, let's just, like, you know, I'm making an assumption here, but, like, if we assume this guy was actually tied with, like, Mossad and with, like, Israeli, like, you know, Israeli, like, military stuff, do you think that kind of a play is outside of the realm of logic? Like, I don't think it is. I think if he's actually, like, that crafty and that evil, that it would be well within reason for him to do something like that. I think, like, honestly, I think it's, like, the odds of Jeffrey Epstein actually being like some kind of intelligence asset is very fucking high.
We also have Bill O'Reilly on News Nation saying he just talked to Trump back on St. Patrick's Day, and
that's
Trump
just
basically
my take, though. I don't really have like a definitive proof of that, but my gut tells me like with everything and like all of the kind of circumstantial and like evidence and all of the like small bits of like what the fuck, I think it's pretty like. In my opinion, I think if I had to bet on red or bet on Jeffrey Epstein as a fucking intelligence asset, I would bet on black. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
And the same thing.
He said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another.
The worst part of all of this is that people are on average pretty unintelligent and won't understand the plot. It is pretty complicated. It is a very complicated plot, I admit.
If that name gets out, those people are destroyed because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that.
So over and over, we've seen the same answer from the president. Not the fact that, oh, no, the Epstein files, it's a lefty conspiracy. No, actually, it's the worry that people in the files are going to have their lives destroyed by the files. That sounds a lot more like covering for the people in the files than it does covering the victims. We've heard Kash Patel and Pam Bondi.
And again, like, what if you knew this? Like, what if you knew this was the case? See, so now, like, thinking about it, like, if you take what we talked about earlier and you think about it in those terms, now imagine there's a ton of people in these files that are innocent, but are kind of roped in there, like weaved into the narrative in like completely innocent ways, but like the public person, like a average public person who is like, you know, just out for blood, they would see the list and be like, yeah, fuck everyone on that list, like, burn them all, right? But then there's actually people that are like in there that were actually tricked into being in there, right? So like in that case, like it could be possible that there is some concern there, but they should just release I don't know, maybe they should just release the ones that are for certain, but maybe they don't know which one's for certain. Like it's because, okay, imagine like you get into the FBI, right? And you're sitting there and now you're like, yeah, find out everyone here that was for sure guilty. But it's this big fucking web it's a big web of just messed up connections. And you have to find the people who are actually involved. That's be really difficult. It'll take a while.
Bondi talk about, we got to protect the victims.
Go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims.
We're not going to read
Sorry, one more pause. Like it would be easy, for instance, to say all of these people are on the list. Here's the list. This is the published list. Like this is all the people on the list. That part's easy, but actually trying to get out the people who aren't involved and are just collateral, that would be difficult. That would take a while. So it would make sense to me if the goal was to try to not hit innocent people with this, that it would take longer.
Victimize women. we're not going to put that back out there.
But when we actually hear the president talk about it, and the real reason, right, because he's ultimately the decision maker on whether this gets released, what the real reason is cited is not about victims. It is about the people, the names in the thing. So I find it disgusting. They're using the victims of Epstein as a shield for the people who are actually in these files. Now, of course, who specifically...
It could be victims of Epstein that are not, again, what I talked about earlier. Victims of Epstein that are not necessarily the girls, but other people that are in that other people that could be implicated despite being innocent. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. You don't have to be for sure guilty without a trial. That's what... well, okay, hold on. 50 Squilla says you don't have to be for sure guilty without a trial. That's due processes. No, but the thing is that would cause irreparable reputation damage to innocent people. So like, even if you were to say, okay, screw it, like just go after everybody and then we'll find out in the court if they're innocent or not, you're already causing like harm to those people by taking them by taking them to court, despite, by lumping them in with everybody else.
Is he worried about? Well, maybe it's his friends, maybe it's people he has dinner parties with, and of course, maybe it's him, Donald Trump, that he's worried about. The journalist Michael Wolff actually quotes Steve Bannon as saying Jeffrey Epstein was really feared in 2016 for what he knew.
I was there, and it was that moment, and Bannon said to Epstein, and he said this in a good humor. He said, during the campaign, it would be the 2016 campaign, you, meaning Jeffrey Epstein, were the only person I was afraid of.
So that is 3 independent sources. You've got the Ira Rosen quote, the Michael Wolff quote, and that Mark Epstein quote, all saying that there is some type of damaging information on Trump. 2 of those people specifically implying that it's also on Clinton as well. You also have the Elon Musk allegation from left field, but he doesn't source anybody, so we won't count that. Either way, I must say, I don't know for sure if Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump were heavily involved in anything nefarious or not. That is exactly why we should all demand.
What I'm saying, thank you for the bits. What I'm saying is you can't release the names of those who are for sure guilty without them going through trial and being found guilty. Well, okay, so if you have pretty clear evidence that they were at least involved, man, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess you would try to take the people that are most likely to be guilty, right? And try to redact the people that are probably collateral. I don't know. It's kind of rough
that we open these files. But the possibility of both Democrats and Republicans being implicated in some of these files, whether they did it or not, or just knew him, may give a plausible...
Blade GTR says, I'm going to mention a personal story about that. In high school, I was falsely accused. My name was later cleared, but it didn't matter. A lot of people believed the initial allegation. In the last 2 years of high school would give me the side eye whenever I'd walk through the hall. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I mean, yeah.
Reason for why the Epstein files have been heavily redacted this whole time. There are very powerful people involved.
Snoopy says the rich don't deserve preferential treatment. This isn't about people being rich or not, really. I think the same thing if there were non-rich people in there. It's not like a rich versus poor thing.
We've known that. The reason we've been given, of course, is that we've got to...
Sorry, I'm just trying to explain the logic behind it. I'm trying to understand the motive or infer the motive from each person, and then trying to understand the logic behind what could possibly be preventing stuff from happening.
Protect the victims. The real reason behind the scenes is really they're protecting the powerful people. Now, the most charitable interpretation is, as Bill O'Reilly said, it's because those people would have their lives ruined. They had nothing to do with Epstein, but we know some of them probably did. We know this from the Miami Herald because the FBI agents who searched Epstein's house found a cache of thick black binders all labeled with names that contained hundreds of naked or semi-naked photos.
Yeah, did that disappear too, Trump? What happened to that one? What happened, Pam Bondi? What happened to that? That should just vanish.
Photographs on CDs.
If it vanished, we need to find out who vanished it, right? You better tell us how they lost it.
That Epstein stored in various places. The labels on the binders were redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties who were not relevant to the case they are mounting against Ghislaine Maxwell. So my question is, Are those some of the third parties? Their names are on binders with a bunch of explicit photographs that Epstein was storing? That seems like something we should be investigating. Or what about the fact that since the FBI is saying there's no blackmail involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we investigate the Wall Street Journal report that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an extramarital affair, because I thought there was no blackmail involved. And my real plea to people is to not allow comments like this, these statements about partisan politics, to trick you into thinking this is some type of left versus right issue. That is the Trump play right now. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a disaster. I think it's very stupid.
agree.
I think people on the right are just as interested as people on the left. I think this is a universal issue, as it should be. If there are predators in the highest offices in the land, be they Democrat or Republican, we want to know about it.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I 100% agree with that. And I think you can see that very clearly, that a lot of people on social media, if you look at it at all, are on the topic are saying like, hey, like it doesn't, like, what are you talking about, Trump? Like, we still want to see it. The idea that nobody cares about it is ridiculous. It's just so not true. And you know, I hope we find out more about it, because I'm just saying, man, conspiracy theorists keep winning. It's like, this is the decade of conspiracy theorists winning, man. It's actually crazy.